Okay, so let's talk a little bit about work planes. The first thing we need to understand is when we start a sketch, so here I've got a blank part file, and I start a sketch, this initial startup here is asking me to select which work plane, or which plane, origin plane, I would like to start drawing on. So from the beginning, Inventor will tell us, will ask us to select a plane that we're working on, then we select and we go. From there, if I made something here, just say I had that. From there, so far everything we've done has been starting sketches on surface, so on surfaces that we've created. So after that initial one, I'm no longer working with those set origin planes. I'm starting on surfaces for parts that we've already extruded. Now, there are times when we want to work on something that necessarily isn't a direct surface of the part, and that's where work planes come in. So set up a few examples of how we're going to do these. So if I wanted to say, let's just say I needed to put in a support bracket, a support onto this L bracket here. Let's just say that is a common use case for this. So right now, if I wanted to start drawing in the middle of this, I really don't have a great way of doing it and drawing a profile. So there's a couple of different ways to do it with work planes. So the way I like to do it is just click on the plane button here, and I can click on one side and then click on the other side, and what it will do is it will create a plane right in the midpoint of there that I can sketch on. So now I can start a sketch on this side here, and if I wanted to, let's just say, add in a triangular support, I could finish this sketch, and now I can extrude. And when I do my extrusion here, I can extrude it symmetrically. And let's just say I wanted it at 0.25 inches. And now I can put, I can have that created within the center from the side profile. Okay. Once I have my work plane finished, if I'm done with it, I don't need to use it anymore, I can right click it on my model browser and turn off the visibility. It doesn't disappear, it just isn't visible. So I can still come back to it if I need to. Okay. So that's one use case. Putting a work plane in between two surfaces. If I needed to do it a different way, I could click here, and I could click here, and it would stick one in the middle that way. It'll just put it in the midpoint between any two surfaces that I select. Okay. The second really nice thing that I can do with work planes is I can place features on top of curved surfaces. So, as you guys probably know, if I went to start a sketch, I can't start a sketch on top of here. There's no flat surface. I can start it on the end, but not on the top. So in order to do this, there's going to go to the work plane drop menu, and a lot of these here will tell you what they'll do, and you can hover over them and they'll kind of explain it a little bit more. But if I wanted to put one on top, I could just say tangent to surface and parallel to plane. So I click on that one, and what it's going to do at the bottom here, it's going to ask me to select my curved surface. So there's my curved surface. And now I want it parallel to a plane. So I'm going to go use those origin planes. So if I come back and I've expanded my origin in my browser, I can select where I would like this to be. So here I've got it tangent to this surface, and I've got it parallel to that plane. And now it went ahead and it put a tangent work plane here, so that I could draw on that surface. So if I were to say, start a sketch here now, and let's just say I just wanted to throw any shape, any old shape on top of there, and extrude this. Now I've got a surface, a new part created tangent to that surface. Okay, so it's resting right on top. So that's another common use case for work planes. The second one is I can place things on an angle to an edge. So, for example, if I wanted to say take this shape here, and I wanted to have something coming straight off of here in the middle of this, it's very difficult to do without work planes. But if I were to click on the work plane button and I go from this edge, now I can select the surface that I want it to go from, and I can type in my angles. So if I say I wanted it at like a 45-degree angle, or in this case I want it to come off, so the opposite there. So now I can hit go, and now I've got a work plane here that I could draw. Start a sketch on here. And if I wanted to have like a little circle coming out of here like this, I could finish that sketch, and now I can extrude this profile to come out of there. Okay. Now, if I wanted it to come and become one piece with that other one, instead of just having it come in this direction, I can do what's called an asymmetrical extrusion. And I can select the differences or the distances that it's going to go. So distance A, let's just say I want this to go in 0.5 inches, so that it's coming into that, and coming out 2.5 from that edge. So now I've got one kind of solid joined piece there. So that's another common use for a work plane. The last thing that you wanted to do for work planes would be an offset one. This is actually probably the most common reason to use these. Let's say I'm designing like this bracket here, and I need another one on the edge. Okay, there's not really a way to do that with spacing. So what I can do is I can click on the plane button, click on this surface, and if I click and I hold down there and drag, it will allow me to set a plane offset. So if I needed this to be like 5 inches apart, let's say, I could hit there, and now I've got a work plane 5 inches off of that surface. So now the cool thing I could do is I could start a sketch here. I could project this geometry onto there, finish that, and what it's done is on that work plane, by projecting the geometry, it's just copied the outline of this image over here. Then I could extrude that, and I have two of these centered together. So offset planes are really, really, really useful. And all you really have to do is hit that plane button, click, hold, and drag in the direction you want to. If I wanted to do another one, let's just say another 5 inches apart or something like that, I could do the same thing and create another work plane. Okay? And I could duplicate that X amount of times, as many times as I really needed to, without any problem. So it's a quick introduction to work planes. Again, just as a reminder, anytime that you're confused about what these things can do, if you just pull down on this button, you can select different types of planes to work through. This is a newer feature in Inventor, and it will talk and give examples of exactly what they would do.